Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. And today, I am going to be showing you where all the secret units are. We're going to start off in Tribal 1. We'll go to Free Cam. And on this side of the map, there is going to be a pom-pom on a stump. Oh god, I did not mean to do that. Time to get back over here. So yes, here we are, and this will be the cheerleader. Now we move on to the tribal sandbox, where we will find 2 more units, such as on this little shrine over here, we have a skull. The raptor. But now we gotta make our way all the way over here to this big rock. And in the little cave over here, we find another skull, which could only belong to the Raptor Rider. Now we move on to Farmer 1, as we look behind this bush here to find... As we look behind this bush to find the Wheelbarrow Dragon. As it loads and stuff, because it's not instantaneous. And there we go. And I think I got this over. Ah, yes. And there is the Farmer Snow, which we will need later. But I'm getting it now, so we don't have to worry about it. So yeah, that's this secret. Then we will go to Medieval 1, where we have a couple to find. In a barrel over here, there's a little jester head in a box, which is relatively the jester. Then over on the other end, in the woods, we have an axe and a stump, which belongs to the executioner. And on the other side of the woods, we have a small little differently textured tree, which is the weapon of the great and mighty Tree Giant. Now on Medieval 2, we got another 3 to find. Over here in this tower, one of the first ones to be added, which happens to be a couple maces for the Mace Spinner. Come on, let me out. But in the other corner of the map, in the woods, we have a guy who's impaled on a large stick. Now this could only be the one, the only, Vlad the Impaler. And finally, at the very top of the route, we have a giant lance, which is the weapon of the great and mighty and wobbly cavalry. But now we go over to Ancient 1, where another one of the first and most expensive units is. It's a bow that belongs to the goddess herself, the goddess of archery and other stuff, Artemis. Now for Ancient 2, in the City of Culture, in the City of Learning, by the poser statue over here, we will find a sword on a pedestal, which belongs to the great teacher. Now here on the Ancient Sandbox, we have a couple more to find. In this little shrine area, we have a servant's weapon, a powerful weapon, if you like to think it as such, the Fan Bearer. Then on top of the little roof, we have a love bow, which could only belong to Cupid. Then also, hidden in the walls of this town, we have a crossbow hidden in the corner, made for the Chukonu. Now here on Viking 1, we got one unit over here in the rocks, on the edge of the waterfall. The Dovahkiin helmet, otherwise known as the Shouter. Now on the opposite edge of the map, hidden deep in the woods, buried under ice, snow, and dirt, we have the head of the great, the powerful, the Frosty Ice Giant. And now for the Viking sandbox. One unit that stands above the rest in his godhood and bloodline, with his hat and his axes. This is Uller. And now we are at the Dynasty map, where we can find like 6 different units. To start off with, let's start on top of the temple, where we find some shuriken, which belong to the great Sensei. And right underneath it, in the rafters, we should be able to find as well whatever type of blade this is. I don't know exactly, but it is Lady Red Jade. Underneath this bridge on the blue side, we can find a foot in the grass, in the water, which belongs to the Taekwondo. Now down the deep hole, if we were to look up, we will find a giant sword, which could only be for the one and only giant samurai. Here we go. Now on this side of the temple, next to the waterfall. Oh god, gotta get there again. We will find a sword stuck in the roots, which belongs to the leader of the samurai, known as the Shogun. I think that's it for this map. Now we move on to the Renaissance, where if we look high in the sky, we can find a guy dangling from the heavens. And this could only be the Ballooner. I lost him. There we go. Found him again. Indeed, the Ballooner. Now we move on to the Pirate faction, where we have 4 units to find. First, we'll start on this little table here, on this little island, with what looks to be a bomb on a stick, which could only be a literal bomb on a stick. Now on the opposite edge of the map, in this little alcove, we can find a cannon surrounded by some heavy explosives, which could only be the bomb cannon. Now, underneath the ship, underneath the water, we will find a thin of rocks. But what's inside the rocks? It's a clam, filled with a man. It's a clam man. Or just clams. We got normal clams. And for the last one, probably the most secret of them all, inside this little waterfall, we can go inside and find the secret lair of Blackbeard and his main weapons, the dual-wielding anchors. Now that was Blackbeard. As we move on to Spooky 1, where we will find our first one. A lady of chains and fancy headwear. This is the Banshee. And on the other edge of the woods, we find ourselves a graveyard. And in said graveyard, a giant skull. A giant skull which belongs to a giant skeleton. Now in Spooky 2, over on the right, with the whirl-a-wisp and the lantern in the air, it is the one, the only Necromancer. And if we look off into the sky, above the pumpkins, above the cherry tree that is now dead, we find a broomstick with a witch hat on it. Which is the witch. Now in the Wild Wild West, we have 3 units to find. For the first one, in this little cart here, in this jail cart, we will find a ball and chain, which unsurprisingly gives us the ball and chain unit. And if we were to continue down this way, we will find a stairway. And underneath this stairway is a big gun. But not only a big gun, a Gatling gun. And for this next one, we're going to have to do a little bit of destruction. We're going to spawn some units on each side to keep this going. As I bring in... You know what? Let's bring in one of our big guys here. The bomb cannon. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to assume user control. I'll take over the bomb cannon. We'll look at the back of the bank. And fire! It might take a couple times. Fire! There we go. Exit control. As we look in here and we can find a safe. But what does this mean? It's the bank robbers. We just did the work for them. And that's all the units for the Wild West. As we move into Farmer Snow, where we got 2 festive units to find. The first one, stuck in an icicle of some sort, with some glowy hands. This could only be Elsa from Frozen. I mean the Ice Mage. And the second unit, up on the balcony, awaiting a gift from Santa, or delivering the present themselves. I don't honestly know. We have a present, which was delivered by the present elf. Now, we got 2 units left to find, so we're going to have to uncover those secrets on Medieval 1. For the first one, there is a door hidden underneath the map, known for years but only available for a couple. The Landfall logo. As it twitches, it turns and it brightens. And pop. Now the door opens to a dark room. But what could this mean? As I say, let there be. Light? Come on. Where's the light? There it is. It's a little late, but I mean it works. Now, I'm assuming all these guys are like people who helped work on tabs and stuff. But yeah. But now we have the big glowing orb in the center, so let's go into it. And we load into the Fantasy Good Realm. And on this big island over here, the floating island, we will find a secret unit. The Solar Architect. But now, we gotta go and find the opposite of good, which could only be evil. And seeing as Medieval 1 got turned into a spooky map, it is reasonable to say the door underneath has changed as well. But if you look at this, it's open, it's broken, and some dark powers are coming through, as we have another orb that leads us to the Fantasy Evil map. And right behind the demon's head, we will find a weapon unlike any other. Come on. There we go. It is the Infernal Whip. Now that should be every unit. So let's hop in a sandbox and figure that out in the next episode. This was mainly just help find the units, just to make sure we got them all. And it looks like we got them all. So, I hope you enjoyed. And see you next time.